One of America's most glamorous cities is home to one of sport's greatest stars. In San Francisco, baseball revolves around a single towering figure. But travel east across the Bay Bridge and you will find another type of team. One that is able to compete at the highest level thanks to the contributions of all 25 men. Now the A's must contend with a rising National League star. But they can counter with their own American League ace. Sparks will fly when green and gold collide with orange and black tonight. Another big night at the Coliseum. Big because Nick Swisher got his hair cut. Also big because the Giants are in town. Barry Bonds, a couple of hits last night. No home runs. Still sitting on 745. A's tonight trying to make it 2 in a row over their Cross Bay rivals, the Giants. It's the Athletics and the Giants. Game 2 of the series coming up here on FSN Bay Area. Good evening, everybody. I'm Glenn Kuiper along with Ray Fosse. Welcome to another night of Oakland A's baseball. Last night, the A's had a lot of fun. They brought out the bats, Ray. They got a lot of help from the Giants pitching staff, and when it was all said and done, they scored 15 runs.
Absolutely. The patience, I think, was the key. 13 walks they drew last night, and it helped the guys get some runners on base. Dan Johnson, a 2-run bomb to right center field, almost caught by Randy Wynn, but went over. 5th home run for DJ, and he continues to swing a hot bat. Nick Swisher, 2 RBI double to straightaway center field. Look at that hair. You won't see it much longer. Flowing, couple of runners scored. That was a beautiful thing to see there, with one standing up and one sliding with Switch. A couple of runs batted in. How about this guy? Travis Buck, 3 of his 4 home runs have gone this way to left field. Travis Buck over the left center field wall. Another home run for the rookie right fielder. And Mark Ellis becomes the all-time leader for Oakland A's second baseman, passing his good friend and a former state as far as second baseman Mark Ellis. 40 home runs. It was a grand slam last night against Steve Klein, and he got so upset he got ejected. But a great night for the A's offensively. Let's just hope tonight they score some for Dan Herron, because he's pitched so well. And
we may have a pitcher's duel tonight. It certainly looks like it. The 2 guys that are taking them on, both very, very talented. Dan Herron, as Ray said, will take them on for the Athletics. He will be opposed by Giants right-hander Matt Cain. Herron and the A's, Cain and the Giants. Game 2 of the series is coming up next here on FSN Bay Area.
A's Baseball is brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work. By the all-new, fully redesigned 2007 Toyota Tundra, the truck that's changing it all. By Major League Baseball. Be sure to join the baseball fun and visit DHL All-Star Fan Fest this summer. For tickets, visit allstargame.com. And by Pepsi.
Well, Barry Bonds and the Giants coming across the bay. Game 2 of this 3-game series. A's Giants, and you will see it in high definition here on FSN Bay Area. A's taking the field, so we are just moments away from first pitch, and we are looking forward to what should be another exciting ball game. A big win last night for the Athletics. Here's a look at the Giants lineup tonight. Randy Wynn will lead things off and play center field. Fred Lewis will be in right. Pedro Feliz plays third and hits third. Bonds will DH in the cleanup spot. Ryan Klesko at first. Benji Molina will do the catching. Mark Sweeney is in left field. Omar Vizquel at short. And Kevin Franson is the second baseman. So no Ray Durham and no Rich Aurelia again tonight.
But there is a Dan Herron, and he is good. An ERA of 1.64 puts him the top of the American League, with the top ERA and tied for the Major League with Jake Peavy. Dan Herron, of course, the workhorse, with 60 in the 3rd innings, 9 starts making his 10th tonight, 3-2. As Kite said earlier, could have at least 3 or 4 more wins. Just needs some offense. 3 no decisions in his last 3 starts, so he'd like to make the change tonight. Defensively for the Athletics, and it's brought to you by Rico, Stewart, Swisher, the new look Swisher, and Buck in the outfield. Eric Chavez, 6th career Gold Gloves, ties for 4th all time, and of course he needs 10 more to tie Brooks Robinson. He'll make it. Crosby, Ellis, Johnson, Kendall. Pretty standard for those guys on the infield, and good because they're healthy and they're doing a good job.
Standing room only tonight, as the crowd still filing in. A's and the Giants, and the first pitch of the ball game from Dan Herron to Randy Wynn is in there for a strike, so we're underway. Hour earlier tonight, 6:07 first pitch. Wynn, Lewis, and Feliz here in the first. Randy Wynn extended that hitting streak last night with a double a little bit later in the game. 17-game hit streak. Game time temperature 57 degrees, so a very nice night. A little cool, but comfortable. In there for a strike, 1-2. Wynn lays off the splitter that drops low.
I think Dan Herron talking about his stuff last start. It was so good, just could not control it. That's a good problem to have that kind of stuff that he had. Boy, it's been unhittable.
That's a base hit to left field. So Randy Wynn starts the game by extending his hitting streak to 18 games.
Here tonight's Nissan keys to the game. Chris, a pair of aces starting night. Herron and Kane. Through gems in the Bay Bridge series here last year. Walked his way, patient. The A's had 13 walks last night. Cust has 14 in just 12 games. They let the sleeping Bonds lie. Last 8 games, Bucky 82 with no home runs, no runs batted in, 12 walks.
Quick throw to first. Wynn is back. Fred Lewis is the hitter. Lewis playing in right field again tonight. Had a base hit last night, scored a run. Takes a pitch just off the plate. A's come in 21-20 on the year. They are 10-11 at home and 4-4 on this 10-game homestand so far. Giants, on the other hand, 20-21 and 9-11 on the road. So as the A's are on a 10-game homestand, the Giants are on a 10-game road trip. That's usually the way it works with these two teams. When one is home, the other one's gone. But if you're going to end a 10-game road trip, do it here.
20 minutes away from your home.
That's right. Wynn with a pretty good lead at first, but he's not going. And Lewis hits a little flare down the left field line, and that's going to drop just foul.
That's just good because that might have scored a run. Randy Wynn has tremendous speed, and just slicing away Bill Miller, who was a fan favorite last night, especially Steve Klein.
Oh my.
From that angle looked fair, but of course we're looking at a different angle. Let's check this out. Foul ball. That's foul ball. At least about a quarter of an inch. Don't look at me like that. That's foul ball. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Chavi's complimented him on a great call. Plus he's Northern California resident, you know. He's at home for the 3-day weekend.
Lewis chops it at the plate, so the count even at 2-2.
I thought it was clearly foul. I didn't think there was any doubt.
It's an early start, huh? Two and two to Lewis. Quick throw to first. Sometimes, Ray, with the early start time, you do get the shadow situation, but not so much tonight. There's just a real small shadow between home plate and the pitcher's mound, but I don't think it would affect the hitter too much. Sometimes, yeah, see, there it is a little bit. Sometimes it's a lot worse. Now it's a full count. Pedro Feliz in the on-deck circle, and then Bonds will hit after Feliz.
Well, with Wynn's speed, a good chance he'll be running, and it's a question whether Dan Herron goes to the splitter. Has any number of pitches he could go to try to get perhaps a strikeout throw amount.
See if Wynn is running. He is, and the pitch swung and a miss. Throw to second base, and not in time. It looked like it bounced off Randy Wynn, and Mark Ellis picks it up. The strikeout And a stolen base by Randy Wynn.
With something off speed, and Jason Kendall had it. Good throw, would have gotten him, but not a bad throw. The fact that it bounced, it's just that it could not be handled by Bobby Crosby. If the bounce had been a little bit farther out in front, and ideally you want the ball in the air, but sometimes nothing wrong with a one hopper to second base.
Yeah, I was wrong. I thought maybe it hit the runner. It did not. So the stolen base for Randy Wynn. That is his second of the year. Pedro Feliz hit 7th in last night's Giants lineup. He's 3rd tonight. Rich Aurelius spends a lot of time in the 3rd spot, but Aurelius had a stiff neck for a while, so he is sitting out again tonight.
And he was saying that it's the left side, so as he tries to look at the pitcher, he can't turn.
Right.
And that
makes sense, right?
Doesn't work. You have to change your setup completely, and it doesn't work. So it's best just to take the time off.
Feliz went around 1-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. 2 straight strikeouts. Lewis and now Feliz. And we'll see what the A's do here with Bonds with first base open.
Great splitter at 84. Look at this ball just tumbled out of the strike zone. And they're going to pitch to Ryan Klesko.
So Bonds will be intentionally walked. This will be the 44th walk of the year for Bonds, the 16th intentional walk. And this is the spot in the lineup where Ray Durham usually hits, 5th, and Durham is out with a sore groin. So
4, and that means 1, 2, 3, 4,
as in
walking. Well, the one that stands out, Tim Hudson's daughter. She was just maybe a year or 2 old, something. What are you going to do? And she put up 4 fingers. Bonds comes up. That was the cutest thing in the world.
Swing and a miss by Klesko.
Yeah, Ryan Klesko or anybody hitting behind Bonds in this situation. And you talk to, remember Dave Henderson with the Athletics. He loved to have the runner or the hitter potentially walk in front of him. He would start walking up as each pitch was thrown. By the time the 4th pitch, he was in the batter's box. He was that anxious to get in there and say, I'll prove you wrong. So you can look at it one of 2 ways. You can put pressure on yourself to try to make them pay for it, or you can say, all right,
okay,
I'll do it. You know, and it's always tough for a manager to position a hitter in front of your power hitter and also behind him. You get the guy on in front of him, it forces a team to pitch to him.
And I do think it takes a special breed, especially in the Bonds situation, which is very unique because of how much he walked. Bonds was asked about protection, and he said, I'm the only guy that can protect myself. Now, sounds arrogant, but it's probably true. In the dirt, Kendall. It's in your glove, Jason. There you go.
Jason knows when he comes to the park, or even the day before with Dan Herron pitching, he's got his work cut out for him because he wants Dan to throw the splitter the way he's been throwing in this first inning. His 23rd pitch was a splitter that bounced in front. But Jason Kendall, as all catchers, take a lot of pride in blocking balls to prevent runners from advancing. And he's had 2 already this inning. You probably look at a 3rd that he scooped that hit the dirt, but went immediately into his mitt.
2-2 to Klesko. And now it's 3-2. So full count, 2 outs. Wynn and Bonds will be moving. Benji Molina waits in the on-deck circle. Klesko lines one foul. That was a splitter that was up in the strike zone. And
well, he's got to make an adjustment. Dan Herron does, because he's thrown 3 to Klesko in this at bat that have been down out of the strike zone, and you have to elevate. But the fine line where you want to try to start the ball, and ideally about thigh high, knee high, where it looks like a strike, and get the hitter swing and miss.
Again, the 3-2. And again, a foul ball, this time on the left field line. Klesko does not have a home run this year. He's got 10 RBIs. Was 1 for 4 last night with a double and a run score. And a pretty good take by Klesko. He laid off some of Dan Herron's splitters, and they're down out of the strike zone, so they're loaded for Molina.
Barry Zito meant a lot to Dan Herron. A couple of years they were together. Dan started slowly in 2005. Barry took him under his wing and got him along, and I was talking to Barry tonight and sent along his well wishes to everybody. And but he knows that the things that he did to help Dan Herron has definitely made him a good pitcher.
Here's Molina. There's a strike with a fastball, so Herron gets ahead of Molina.
This inning's going to take so long, the shadow's going to be at the pitcher's mound.
It's moving quickly.
29th pitch coming up.
0-2. Molina didn't like it.
To have an assortment of pitches, if one's not working, you can go to something else, and back-to-back sliders. Actually, first pitch was a fastball. Dan Herron again slipped as he had his follow through. He's done that a few times this year. Fortunately, he's come out okay.
Molina just hangs in there. Benji Molina on the year, 387 hitter with runners in scoring position. And on top of that, with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, 533. We talked about it last night. Tough guy in these spots. So the count 1-2. So heavy workload for Danny Herron here in the first. 31 pitches. Couple of walks, a base hit. He's got a couple of strikeouts. Matt Cain waits.
Dan Herron's trying to figure out what he can throw to Benji Molina to avoid contact. Fouled off a couple with 2 strikes. Trying to get him to chase one.
And he did, and he hits a little roller, and that is a fair ball.
Wow. Thank you.
Well. Outs recorded, no run scored. No score. The Giants leave the bases loaded in the top of the first. And let's look at the A's lineup for tonight. It's brought to you by McDonald's. Good to see Shannon Stewart back in there. Followed by Swisher, Chavez, Johnson. Cusk will DH, and then Crosby, Buck, Ellis, and Kendall.
Matt Cain, yes, throws hard. 93-96 with a fastball, cutter, changeup, curveball. He's got the whole package. One-hit shutout against the A's here at the Coliseum last year.
Matt Cain, just 22 years old. Pours a fastball in there for a strike. 1-1. Couple of home runs for Stewart, 13 RBIs. It's a ground ball to Kevin Franson at second base. 1 out.
Defensively for the Giants, Sweeney, Wynn, and Lewis make up the outfield. Omar Vizquel, 11 Gold Gloves. Second among shortstops. He needs 2 more. As Ozzie Smith, the Wizard, has 13. Pedro Feliz joins him on the left side. Franson and Klesko on the right side. Benji Molina. Also Omar Vizquel, the most double plays ever turned by shortstop.
Yep. Just set that record.
He seems to get younger the more he plays. Talking to him tonight with Ron Wotus, and said, Ron, you believe that he's won 11 Gold Gloves, and not about 11 years ago he was upset that he didn't win one. And so sure enough, Omar says, that's right. He said, I had 6 errors, and Cal Ripken Jr. had 14. He was the MVP, and he won the Gold Glove.
And he remembered the numbers.
And I remember Omar saying, I deserved that one. And sure enough, he went on to win 9 after that. And
he was probably right.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Side to Swisher. Jackknifes out of the way. 3-0.
That's called getting a haircut. Let's look at it. That's amazing.
That's
Dad Steve had 3 ponytails, like alfalfa. 1 on each side, 1 on the back. It's going to a very good cause, and his dad is Nick's grandmother, Steve's mother.
Yep.
Betty Lorraine Swisher, and Steve is so proud of him. But what a difference! What a difference a haircut makes. Here are the ponytails, and boy, you talk about the guys getting on him. You can't believe it. He's reaching up there. There's nothing there.
That's got to feel very strange. So the 1-out walk to Swisher, and here's Eric Chavez. Outside corner with a strike.
Dan Dobbins, who does the speed for the A's and charting down below and kind of behind the scenes, but he was talking tonight that he sponsors a 9-year-old young man in a baseball league, and he started growing his hair because I think he said he had an aunt die, leukemia, and once he found out Nick Swisher was doing the same thing, he said, then I can do it. And so, I mean, because he was getting a lot of kidding from the kids, you know, being a 9-year-old, what are you doing growing your hair like that? And it's for a good cause. And well, Dan said as soon as he found out Swish, he said, that's great, definitely going to do it. So it's had an impact on a lot of people.
Well, I mean, you could certainly make the statement that of all the A's players, certainly fans are crazy about all of them, but Nick Swisher may be the most popular player.
He's too shy, though. It's amazing.
Yeah, he needs to speak up a little.
He needs to be a little bit more outgoing.
He'll come around. Jammed inside. Chavez fouls it back. 1-2. This ended the top of the first.
Well, if it has to go over just any part of the bag. And that shot, it looks like it hit the bag. It did not. It bounced about a foot in front. And Bill Miller must have seen it go over just any part of the bag. It means it's fair. Bill Miller pointing. Also, the home plate umpire, Marvin Hudson, made a similar call.
Chavez breaks his bat. And that's a big call. Bases were loaded. Benji Molina, the hitter.
2 balls hit in the inning. Just foul. Actually, 1 just fair, 1 just foul that were very important in the half inning for the A's.
Swing and a miss. Fastball running away.
Well, how about 2005? Nick Swisher, 2 home runs. That was the 16-0 game. Home run from each side. That was after he got knocked down. And talk about short hair. But here's, look at, you hardly recognize him. But home runs, both sides. I mean, what an afternoon. Whitewash, as they call it.
Last night, of course, 15 runs. It's the third time this year the A's have scored 15 or more runs in a game. Remember, we're just past the middle of May. Curveball drops in for a strike, 0-2.
Important thing is the way they bounced back the second game. They did it against Cleveland. I'm sure against Kansas City, and then played Cleveland and beat CC Sabathia.
Yeah, doing it's great. Building on it is even better. 0-2 to Dan Johnson. So Kane went inside and didn't get the call, and he went outside and he didn't get the call, so the count 2-2.
95-mile-an-hour fastball, so he's got the package. A couple of good curveballs for strikes. Cutter inside, just missed it. And back with a 95 heater to the outside part of the plate.
Slowly hit. Kane backhands, can't field it clean, and everybody's going to be safe.
And Johnson looking up. Give me a hit. Topped. Again, Matt Cain not able to handle it. Backhand came up the heel of the glove and started to throw it, decided against it as he'd been throwing uphill.
It's a base hit.
Take it.
If Kane does what he did last year here, there'll be some controversy. A one-hitter. Here's Jack Cust. Good curveball from Kane in there, first strike.
A pitcher throws as hard as Matt Cain does, you really have to sit fastball. It's tough to say, okay, he's got a good curveball to it. I'm going to look for curveball and have him throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You never want that to happen. So until you get 2 strikes, you're going to see a lot of hitters tonight taking the curveball just because they're not going to be set to hit it.
And if a pitcher has the ability to throw a curveball over early in the count, you gotta say, okay,
tip your hat to him.
That's right.
Nolan Ryan was like that. Nolan threw 95 to 100 with a fastball, and there's no way you could look curveball.
And he had a nasty curve, huh?
Thing would come at your head, you'd be ducking. All of a sudden, strike 3. And you're on the dirt, in the dirt.
Two and 1 the count to Jack Cust with Bobby Crosby in the on-deck circle. So both teams with scoring opportunities here in the first inning. The Giants did not score. The A's trying to jump out to the early lead. Cust 7 homers, 17 RBIs. And now it's 3 and 1.
Maybe the hitters have talked to the pitchers and say, guys, throw a lot of pitches, give the Shadows a chance to disappear. And, you know, we'll give you some runs.
And it worked.
I don't think Bruce Bochy's thinking that. Neither is Bob Guerin. You see the best pitchers, one in the mid-30s, one making his 23rd pitch.
Deep to right, and that is gone. 3-run homer, Jack Cust.
Folks, I think he's for real. That's how you turn around a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You look for it, you get it, 3-1, and you crush it. Lift. And that's a high fastball. That's one that he usually hits straight up. This one, it went straight up and straight out.
And that may have been a ball.
I think it was.
I think it was up and out of the strike zone. So a very impressive job of hitting by Jack Kuss. Wow. Swing and a miss by Crosby. So the Giants do not score. The A's do take advantage of a play that Kane probably should have made on the Johnson ball, and the next hitter, a 3-run homer.
Dan Herron saying thank you.
Wow.
He's already got 3, probably more he's got each of his last 3 starts combined.
Shallow right. Lewis has the glasses on, and he makes the catch. Jack Kuss, the legend, grows. A 3-run homer here in the bottom of the first off Matt Cain, and the A's lead 3-0. Well, she's an A's fan right now. They got a 3-0 lead.
It's kind of turned a little bit side, so the A's sticks out a little bit more.
That's right. So that,
it's adjustable. It's adjustable. Spins it, kind of like C.C. Sabathia's had, or Dallas Braden had to turn it to the side. It's pretty neat. Logos on the side, so let's get the peripheral vision. It's profile.
Sweeney, Vizquel, and Franson. So how about this, Ray? That home run given up by Matt Cain. First home run he's given up in 7 starts. His first start of the year, he gave up 2. Not given up any since then until Jack Kuss.
A's have a pitcher like that too, and Chad Godin, he has not given up.
That's right.
2 in his first start, back-to-back, Guerrero and Anderson. He won't talk about it though. That's why we do.
Mark Sweeney pops it up, and Mark Ellis has it. 1 out here in the second inning. Well, our Pepsi spotlight goes back to last year. Dan Herron against Noah Lowry, college teammates. It was a 1-0 A's win, and it was a great ball game all around. But the thing that will stand out the most is how the game ended. Danny Herron was great that night. It ended on a Houston Street swinging strikeout of Barry Bonds, which was one of the more fun moments of the year last year. Great game. Good pitching between Lowry and Herron.
Great changeup that made an A's commercial out of it.
Did they?
Yes, they did. Houston Street, of course, they talked about the fastball, the slider, changeup, and showed the changeup to Barry Bonds, swing and a miss.
Vizquel fouls it off his foot. Count remains 0-2. Good look at Omar Vizquel, 40 years old. This is his 18th year in the big leagues. His 3rd with the Giants. And I think 5 years after he's done playing, I don't think there's any doubt where he's headed. That would be Cooperstown. I think he is Hall of Fame material. Grounds that one toward Ellis. Tough hop. Ellis stays with it. Throws him out. 2 outs.
That's a play that you see some second basemen panic a little bit and try to hurry, and he just kind of went with it. Let it get to the good hop. Vizquel does run well, but Mark Ellis going to the ball, reaching down like 360 and throws out Omar, the outmaker. It's a good play by Mark Ellis. And that Omar, the outmaker, is from his defense, not his offense. He makes some hard outs look very easy when he's in the field.
Yeah, you can't call him the outmaker on offense. No. He's got over 2,500 career hits.
That ball fouled off his knee that he's flexing a little bit.
So 2 outs. Kevin Franson, the hitter, batting 9th tonight, and Omar Vizquel getting that, maybe his left knee, maybe left shin. Franson bunts, pretty good bunt. Chavez comes down the line, fires, and just in time. Nice play by Eric Chavez. 3 up, 3 down inning for Danny Herron. Bottom of the second coming up. A's 3-0. A's baseball on FSN Bay Area is brought to you by Acura Advance. Bottom of the second inning. Jeff Cust, a 3-run homer, and is the scoring so far in this game. A's 3, Giants nothing. It'll be Buck, Ellis, and Kendall against Matt Cain. Travis Buck fouls it straight back. 0-2 the count.
First athletics game.
I like it. Buck did not go around.
Talking to Ray Natchman about last night's game in which Travis Buck scored on the base hit. The final run the A's scored, a Marco Scudero's hit. As Travis scored, and Ray Natchman said the way the ball was hit, he was going to score him easily. But Travis did not run hard at third, and Latch ended up sending him. And it wasn't to try to show up anybody. It's just that Latch went on the basis of the way the ball was hit and the way Travis Buck can run. But when he didn't see Travis come to him, kind of shorten up a little bit as he approached the bag, and Latch actually said he went and talked to some of the Giants staff and said, hey, wasn't trying to run the game up to embarrass anybody. It's just that the way the ball was hit, he should have scored. He should have scored easily. But I think Marco Scudero appreciated getting the RBI. I mean, that's
sure.
And the game is never, I don't think, in a situation where you have teams intentionally trying to embarrass the other.
Well, this is the play that Ray's talking about.
Same short as just slow down, and then he picked it up a little bit extra right there. Once he actually just almost stopped around third, and then almost was thrown out by not sliding. Maybe Dan Johnson didn't think he was going to try to score either because he was the on-deck hitter.
One and 2 to Mark Ellis.
Marco Scudero was probably thinking, I mean, I didn't want to get to 99 RBIs on the season and have that one not get me to the 100.
And there's a lot of guys have finished with 99.
Super Marco.
Three and 2 now to Ellis. 5 RBIs last night for Ellis. Bonds hopes to hit in the third. Omar Vizquel has it. Flips it across. 2 outs. GMC Professional Grade. We talked about the game last year. Just about a year ago. 1-hit shutout. Here it was a Jay Payton double. It was maybe the third inning. It was the only hit in the game, and that won the series for the Giants. And then the A's would go to San Francisco and take 2 out of 3 there. And that start actually turned Cain's season around. His numbers before that start, he was 1-5 with a 6.69 ERA. He skipped his turn in the rotation, and then he pitched that game against the A's.
Thank you.
Finished 12-7 after that, so he was really struggling.
Nice of him to do that.
Yeah. Could have waited one more day. It was a Sunday.
He's a good one, and a good one to get locked up for many years, and to be in the Giants uniform. It's definitely one you don't want to see get away.
Giants did that in spring training and give him a contract that runs through his arbitration years. A's have done that with Dan Herron and Rich Harden. That young man has a chance to be pretty good. Tim Lincecum. We've read a lot about him.
Is he 15 or how old?
He looks like he's 12. He throws like he's headed to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Man. Softly hit, and that's a base hit.
I saw the highlights of him pitching the other night, striking out 10, and he can bring it.
This is Jason Kendall's wife, and right center, just like her husband. Now, we're going to show Jason this. If his wife hits a home run, he's not going to want to see that.
Appeal to home.
Appeal to home. She didn't touch the plate. Chantel Kennedy, or Kendall.
I can't believe that a couple of guys over in the other booth, your brother hit less than his partner.
Yeah, Mike hit 5, I think. It's been, I think Mike's probably reminded Dwayne of that a few times.
I didn't know that. I just heard about that, and it wasn't Mike telling me either.
And 5 for a pitcher, that's not bad.
I'd still go down in the history of probably the only guy on the Cleveland Indians team that did not see Dwayne hit his.
Yeah. We've never completely, as a family, forgiven you for being in the bathroom while he was sitting.
I know.
But you were there, and that's all.
But as I said at the FSN luncheon this February, I reacted. There is Dwayne. 1 home run, hit it in Cleveland. My second year with the Giants as an announcer, and a good one. But, you know, I reacted on Jason Kendall's home run last year kind of the way I would have if I'd seen Dwayne.
That's right. You would have said, get out of here.
That's right. But
and we appreciate it.
I still think that Dwayne needed to work. Well, he didn't have a home run trot because he'd never hit one.
No.
So when he flew around the bases, I mean, he got around probably in about 10, 12 seconds.
Yeah, Olympic speed. That's a base hit to left field. So a couple of 2-out hits for the A's against Matt Cain.
I think Dwayne and I also have something in common. We were probably the only 2 players during that period of time that did not want to be traded to Cleveland.
Leave, yeah. You are very correct.
Yeah, we wanted to stay, and we were both traded to the West Coast, and we've both been fortunate to be out here for a long time.
And it's funny, you're right. It ends up getting traded. Was the best thing that happened for you, obviously, and for him. I mean, he's had a great broadcasting career. But at the time, Cleveland was where it was at for you. Here's Swisher. Chance to knock in a run. Big swing and a miss in the curveball. Remember, Cain threw inside to Swisher a couple times in his first at bat. Knocked him off his feet and then ended up walking him on a pitch that was up and in. Not necessarily on purpose, but a hitter usually remembers that. Well, the A's are ready with 4 hits off Matt Cain. The big one being the Cust home run, but the league is hitting just 198 against Matt Cain. See that pitch at 87, but good movement.
That's his changeup. He throws his changeup almost like Rich Harden. And when you can throw 95 to 96 miles per hour and you throw a changeup 86 to 88, you still have to gear up for the real good fastball. Comes out of the hand, the delivery just like a true fastball, but about 7 or 8 miles difference. Works very effectively.
A big curveball. Swisher just got a piece of it. Kendall and Stewart, the runners. Swisher flicks it down the left field line. It's going to drop foul.
Good job of protecting. Good curveball from Matt Cain. Of course, Nick Swisher and the rest of the A's have had a chance to see the very good 12-6 curveball by by Kane and figured he's going to use it as a strikeout pitch. Nick able to stay back and foul off the top. Those of you just joining, that is Nick Swisher. Does not look the same for the previous 41 games.
2-2. So the A's, as they always do, making Kane work. He's thrown a lot of pitches, and we're only in the second inning. Inside, 3-2, 96 miles an hour.
Nick's got to be thinking on that one with the right at his rib cage at 96. That's why he's happy to get out of the way of it.
Runners will be moving. Strike 3, changeup, and Swisher took it. So Kane, a couple of strikeouts. The A's strand a pair. Major League Baseball's All-Star Week is coming to the Bay Area. Join in the baseball fun and bring your family to the 2007 DHL All-Star Fan Fest, July 6th through the 10th at Moscone West. Tickets are available at allstargame.com or 888-FANFEST. Top of the order for the Giants against Danny Herring. The A's with a 3-0 lead.
Good bounce back for Dan Herring. 33 pitches in this first inning. Second inning threw only 12.
Wynn shows bunt, takes the ball, 2-0. The base hit in the first inning by Wynn extended the streak to 18. Line drive to left. Stewart's there. 1 out.
See a play like that happen, you can appreciate the advanced scout report, in this case sent in by Joe Sparks, how the coaching staff just goes over the scouting report on all the hitters, all the pitchers with a fine-tooth comb. This ball is hit hard left field, but look where Shannon Stewart hardly has to move. A couple of steps back. He's right in the perfect position to take the hit away, a possible hit away from Randy Wynn, just because of positioning. And you know, they just don't show up and go to some spot in the outfield or the infield. Randy Latchman, of course, with his charts, he has charted ever since he's been in the game, every hitter that his teams have faced.
That's why the book is so thick.
Oh, it's very thick. Latch probably spends, oh, I can't even imagine the hours he spends at the park each day, home or on the road. After every game, he'll take, Adam Roden has a video of the entire game, and he will go through the game again as he's charting while he can now, but he'll go back and go through the whole game again.
Mark Ellis, nice play, 2 outs. So Mark Ellis ranging far to his left.
Ball looked like it's a hit when it left his bat. But Mark Ellis, again, positioning. Infielders will look at Jason Candle to see the sign that he's calling, and they can pretty much tell where the hitter's going to hit the ball based on the pitch selection and the location of the pitch. It's really a scientific game. If you think about it, I mean, everything that goes into,
Especially at this level.
yeah, at this level, and this just so many different things that people will look out and they'll see positioning, the players there, and they think, well, they're just 9 guys on the field and playing a pickup game, you know, but it's a lot more detail.
Oh, there they are, they're back.
They're back.
They're back. What took them so long, we do not know, but it doesn't matter. They're back.
Where's my pass list sitting? Where are all those?
I'm going to find out exactly where. Fosse's posse. Sitting. He's the guy making all the noise. Foul Follow the noise. Swing and a miss. Feliz strikes out for the second time. 7 in a row retired by Dan Herron. 3-0 A's. A's baseball on FSN Bay Area is brought to you by Motel 6 for the lowest price of any national chain. Call 1-800-4-MOTEL-6. Bottom of the third. Eric Chavez swings at the first pitch. Feliz takes care of the ground ball. 1 out here in the third. So Chavez 0 for 2 tonight. Dan Johnson's going to hit. Johnson's at bat in the first inning was a big at bat. He hit a ball about 50 feet. Right back to the pitcher, but it was a little bit of a funky hop. Kane could not make the play. It was an infield hit. And the next batter, Jack Cust, hit a home run. If Kane would have fielded it, it would have been the third out. Johnson's batting average with the hit .373. Sellout crowd again tonight, and we'll have a sellout tomorrow afternoon as well. Strike 3 called. All right, here, Dodge, who's hot? It's Dan Johnson. He didn't like that call, but this was a big hit in last night's game. It was a 3-1 game, and Barry Zito made a very poor pitch right there. Dan Johnson took advantage. Barry Zito knew it. A's hit 3 home runs last night. So 2 outs, and Jack Cust is the hitter. We got a special treat for you tonight. Coming up in the top of the 5th inning, we are going to talk with Chad Godin, starting pitcher and winning pitcher from last night's game for the A's. He's not coming up to the booth. We're going to talk to him on a headset. He's going to be down in the dugout. It's going to be fun. Yeah. Talk about last night's win for Chad, and we'll do that in the top of the 5th inning. Chad Godin now 3-1 on the year with a 2.94 ERA. Not bad for a guy who was put in the starting rotation at the beginning of the year. And probably figured I'm going to be in the bullpen again this year, but that changed in a hurry, and he's been terrific. So
you have to understand he's from New Orleans.
New Orleans. Where is it? Where did it go?
It's still pretty long.
It is long. Good pitch there by Matt Cain, and he has a quick inning, and he needed it. Barry Bonds is going to lead off for the Giants. It's a 3-0 Athletics lead after 3. A's with a 3-0 lead over the Giants. We've reached the 4th inning here at the Coliseum. And Bonds leads off against Herron. Hits one foul. Bonds with 11 home runs and 23 RBIs this year. He was intentionally walked in the first inning. He has not homered in 9 games. He has been struggling some. Couple of hits last night. Just 4 hits in his last 22 at-bats. Two and 1. Now it's 2-2. That's among active players. He's about 900 ahead of the second place guy in that list, which is Frank Thomas. full count. So see what Herron does with Bonds. A 3-0 lead, leading off, and a 3-2 count.
Splitter or curveball?
And strike 3 called outside corner. 1 out.
Painted a fastball. Perfect pitch. Bonds might have been thinking splitter or curveball, but Dan Herron, 91 pitch fastball. This was a pitch by pitch. Got ahead of first pitch strike, and then the breaking ball missed. Another one, fastball outside, just missed. Evens the count 2-2. This one down in the dirt with a splitter, and look at the paint job. Outside corner. That's a look. Normally, if a hitter's saying I couldn't hit it, so I'm going to take off to first base. But Barry Bonds, a very good hitter's eye. Same pitch. Stay right there.
And it's a strike. He's got to call it. It's a bit high to Klesko. 2-1 the count, so 4 strikeouts from here.
Marvin Hudson calling the low strike, and I mean that is again perfect pitch thrown by Dan Herron. Marvin Hudson not calling the high strike. There have been a few that Dan Herron has thrown, as well as Matt Cain, but Hudson's been consistent down in the zone, and the word consistency is something we have talked about often.
Chavez has a play in front of his own dugout. 2 outs. Nine in a row retired by Dan Herron. It was a 3-1 fastball right down the middle. Klesko popped it up. The life of a DH. Head back. So the count 0-1 to Benji Molina with 2 outs. Big out in this game was Benji Molina in the first. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and he grounded out. Chavez grabbed the ball and stepped on third base for the force out. Giants left him alone. Good pitch there, in for a strike, 1-2. So right now, Danny Herron is in a good groove. Giving up just 1 hit, and that was to the first hitter of the game, Randy Wynn. Crosby's got time with Molina running. Steps, sets, throws, and Molina's retired. 3 up, 3 down inning. Crosby's going to lead things off. A's with a 3-0 lead. Bottom of the 4th coming up. A's with a 3-0 lead. Here's tonight's Aflac trivia question. Who are the only 5 Oakland A's second basemen to hit a grand slam? We know one of them. Mark Ellis did it last night in the 8th inning. Crosby, Buck, and Ellis.
5 second basemen of the A's to hit home run.
Shooty Babbitt.
You got to say Dick Green's in there. Got to say Phil Garner's got to be in.
You didn't like my Shooty Babbitt?
Garner, no. Green, yes. Shooty, no?
No, Shooty's not.
Shooty paying you again for mentioning?
Yeah, he did. He said, mention my name, I'll buy you dinner. 1-2 to Crosby. I'm going to say Mike Gallego.
I was going to go out on a limb and say Gags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Lance Blankenship.
Lance Blankenship's a good call. Franson has it. How about Brent Gates? Once a homestand, I throw Brent Gates out there. I don't know why. I don't know why. That's a good guess, though. Second baseman.
Well, he was a second baseman.
Well, that's got to start somewhere.
David Koppett's not saying anything, so must mean that's a.
Yeah. You got to have a go-to guy, Ray, for these answers. One out for Travis Buck. Buck struck out in the second inning. Matt Cain with 5 strikeouts tonight. To right center field. Randy Wynn races over to cut it off, spins around, makes a nice play and fires it back in. And Buck stays at first.
A cutter from Steve Klein after we were talking last night. The first swing that he made looked like he was trying to do what he ultimately did, the 2 strikes, and he said he was. He said he got a pretty good pitch and let it go and ended up hitting a 2-2 cut fastball.
Klein was happy with, or unhappy with, the call right before that, a pitch that was called the ball, and that's why he got thrown out. We're convinced that the manager, Bruce Bochy, he got thrown out as well. I think he got thrown out just because he was tired of watching his pitchers walk guys. 13 walks last night issued by the Giants.
How many pitches did you figure were thrown by the Giants last night?
I wrote it down. 220. One of those nights. I'm sure very disappointed.
Well, he admitted he let the emotions get the best of him. And
Buck is running. Little pop-up. Vizquel. You got to watch Omar. You never know. He may let it bounce. This was the start last night for Barry Zito, and he got in trouble early. It was a Swisher had a broken bat hit, and Crosby had the little dribbler that he could not make a play on, and combine that with just did not have good control. You said it right. He was up with everything.
well, the one thing I was talking about too was how the A's were taking some of the close pitches, and saw Mark Ellis take fastball just off the plate. And you know, guys that have a good eye, they will take pitches like that because they are balls. But from a pitcher standpoint, you want aggressive hitters who go out of the strike zone a little bit to help yourself. And the A's very patient. 13 walks later last night.
To Vizquel, he backhands, short way to Franson, side retired. 5th inning coming up. Sweeney, Vizquel, and Franson for the Giants. Top of the 5th inning, the A's with a 3-0 lead over the Giants, and a special treat tonight. We are going to talk with Chad Godin, and he is down near the dugout. Chad, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Something fun tonight during the game. We get to talk to a player.
Anytime, guys.
So you pick up your 3rd win last night. A lot of emotion in the building always when the Giants and A's play. Tell us about your start last night.
You know what? I just kind of went into it not trying to put more than what it was. You know, just looked at it as another start. And, you know, I'm sure it was a lot more intense for Zito in the sense that he pitched here for so long. But, you know, I just tried to take it one pitch at a time and keep it simple.
What kind of adjustments have you made, Chad? And we've talked about, of course, being in the starting rotation and changing your delivery, which we'll talk about also. But the adjustments that you have to make, because a lot of time your pitches, your fastball especially, will move too much, perhaps out of the strike zone, and you have to adjust to get back into the strike zone.
Well, you know, like I said, on the sinker, you know, sometimes it'll get away from me. And what I try to do is I try to just, you know, keep it down the middle of the plate and let the movement take care of it. And, you know, Jason sets up behind the middle and just let it pretty much do what it does itself, and not think too much into it. Because when I start trying to think about putting it here and putting it there, then that's when I start catching myself getting behind hitters.
1-1 the count to Mark Sweeney. As we're
Boy, is it loud?
Godin.
I didn't know the Coliseum get this loud.
Oh yeah.
Well, you could go back in the dugout and have all your teammates get all over you.
Yeah, that'd be real nice. You know that ain't happening.
Well, we will say that I know you're trying to plug the noise with your right hand, and it does get noisy when you have a sellout crowd. You expect it.
I can barely hear you guys.
Travis Buck makes the catch. You hear us now? You hear us okay? Well, Chad, last night you faced Barry Bonds. Obviously always a challenge, but you made some good pitches and you struck him out early in the game. Tell us about facing Bonds last night.
Well, you know, the classic report is don't let him beat you, and I just try to stay attack mode with him and make a lot of 0-2 pitches. And you know, he was pretty aggressive with 2 strikes, which surprised me. And you know, just try to minimize the damage because the guy can do some damage. So, you know, it was good to strike him out and to keep him from really hurting me.
Chad, you talk about not letting him beat you. We're talking about the scouting reports, the extensive reports that you guys have, and a situation like that, how much, of course, the game got a little bit out of hand with the lead that you had, but still in the back of your mind, were you thinking about if you walked him, it's not a problem, but yet still try to get him out with a backdoor breaking ball like you did, or were you concerned if you did walk him?
Well, yeah, I mean, worst comes to worst, I walk him, and that's why, like I said, I was approaching him with 2 strikes and trying to get him out with getaway pitches. And you know, I could have tentatively pitched to him, but I think when you tentatively pitch to a hitter of that stature, then he's going to sense it and he's going to you know, eat it up. So I just try to stay aggressive to him and make good pitches.
Chad, great job in the bullpen last year, and you've done a great job as a starter. Do you have a preference? I mean, which would you enjoy more if it was fully your choice? A reliever?
I'll answer that for him.
You know,
there's no doubt, is there?
The right answer is anything the team needs. But of course, I love starting. I've always done it. You know, coming up to the minor leagues, and it's worked great for me, and I know I can do it. So, like I said, when it comes down to it, it's all about, you know, winning and helping the team out. So, whatever I can do to help them out, you know, I'm here.
But Chad, we do definitely have to talk about, as again, I compliment you for being able to change your delivery between one start, I think it might have been Tampa or to Boston to Kansas City, where you took one side session in the bullpen working with Kurt Young and completely changed your delivery, your quickness in releasing the ball. If you can, now you are on TV now, you can explain it if you want to, but versus radio when I interviewed you the other day, but how were you able to do it so quickly?
Well, you know, I'm just the type of person that if I set my mind to it, and I really knew I needed to get that done, and it's been lingering, and I knew that runners were stealing on me, and Jason didn't have a chance, so I had to find a way to minimize the running game. And I told myself, I said, I got to get this before the next start, because if not, then it's just going to keep lingering on. So I just worked on it every day as much as I could, and tried to make it as much a muscle memory as I could. And you know, it worked out pretty good for me. And I just tried to keep it simple and not overdo it in a sense, but I wanted to get it done. So, you know, it took a lot of work, but it's still a work in progress and to get that feel. But, you know, I'm really happy with it and going to keep on going with it.
Chad, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Great job last night.
Hey, no time, anytime.
All right, Chad Godin, our guest, the A's, still with a 3-0 lead over the Giants. Top of the order for the A's, facing Matt Cain here in the bottom of the 5th. 3-0 Athletics. A 3-run homer by Jack Cust with 2 outs in the first inning. And since then, Matt Cain has settled down, which you had a feeling that he probably would. That's why the Cust home run was big in a number of ways. Cain with 5 strikeouts. Foul ball. The count now 1-2. Stewart. Toyota by the numbers. The A's now have the best winning percentage in interleague play all time. The Yankees lost again today to the Mets. Mets 10, Yankees 7. Yankees lost another starting pitcher. Joe Rasner, the rookie, got hit in the hand in the first inning of that game, and he had to leave the game. The Red Sox and the Atlanta Braves played a doubleheader today. Boston won the first game. Atlanta is winning the second game 11-0 in the 9th inning. So we'll figure the Red Sox are going to split. Strike 3 called at the knees.
That's a low fastball. So Barry Bonds and now Shannon Stewart with a similar pitch. Low outside corner. No tailing action coming back from the outside. And not much Shannon Stewart could do with the pitch.
So 1 out here in the 5th. Swisher takes outside. I mentioned the Red Sox-Yankees thing. The Yankees now will be 10.5 games behind the Red Sox in the AL East after today. Swisher's shallow center field. Randy Wynn is under it. He makes the catch. 2 outs. The Angels and the Dodgers playing again tonight. Angels 3, Dodgers 2. That in the 5th inning. And the Mariners with an early 2-0 lead over the Padres in Seattle. Texas Rangers have lost again. Houston 6, the Rangers 1. That's a final. So the Rangers now 16-27 on the year. Chavez hits a shot, 1 hop. Franson has it. 3 up, 3 down inning for Matt Cain. Top of the order for the Giants in the 6th. 3-0 A's. Welcome back to the Coors Light 6th inning. It's time now to refresh your inner fan with Coors Light.
Ray Fosse, hands down. He stayed with the A's. He was a great catcher. The mule, the man, number 10, Ray Fosse.
Coors Light, refresh your inner fan. The mule, the man, Ray Fosse. Don't worry, I'm not going to start calling you mule. I just can't do it. Doesn't sound right.
Good.
I won't do that to you. But Danny Herron is on a roll. He has retired 13 straight. He walked Klesko to load the bases with 2 outs in the 1st inning, and Giants have not had a base runner since. Randy Wynn over the mound. Crosby has it. 1 out. All right, let's answer tonight's Aflac trivia question. Has to do with grand slams. Who are the only 5 Oakland A second basemen to hit a grand slam? All names you will recognize. Mark Ellis, Dick Green, Mike Gallego, Davey Lopes, and Randy Reddy. Fred Lewis, the hitter, with 1 out. Lewis 0 for 2 tonight, 1 for 6 in the series. He'll be followed by Pedro Feliz. If anybody gets on, Bonds will hit. Popped up. And Danny Herron is on cruise control right now. 15 in a row retired.
Well, the perfect example of a situation where you think, and that's what he's done since the 1st inning. If you don't get him early, you might not get him at all. In the case of Dan Herron tonight, the Giants with an opportunity with the bases loaded did not get anything off Dan Herron.
Crosby has it. And that'll do it. 3 up, 3 down inning. 16 in a row retired by Herron.
And the A's will be away for a week, but when they come back Wednesday, May the 30th, Texas Rangers in town. It's a 12:35 p.m. start. Pre-game ceremony will honor the Black Aces. 20-game winners Dave Stewart, Vida Blue, Mike Norris, and Jim Mudcat Grant. For tickets, call 877-493-BALL or visit oaklandathletics.com.
Johnson cussed Crosby. It's Matt Cain. He made a great point, Ray. The Giants were not able to capitalize on their opportunity against Danny Herron. And the A's did capitalize on their opportunity against Matt Cain. Both guys have settled down, but the difference, he's got that one big hit. Cain has allowed just 2 hits, make that 3 hits since the first inning, and no runs. High fastball, 95 miles an hour. That's 7 strikeouts for Cain. Well, this was how the A's took advantage in the first inning.
It's hard to believe he went out of the strike zone to do this, too. 3-1 fastball. Then had he taken it the way Marvin Hudson had called the pitches tonight, that's ball 4. Instead, he jumped on it and did not miss it.
So 1 out, and Kuss takes a pitch down around the knees for a strike. Jack Kuss now 8 home runs, 20 RBIs. There's that changeup from Cain. So Kuss, the leading home run hitter for the A's. And he has been here just 13 games.
Yeah, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. He made his first start.
That's right. Swisher was on base when Kuss hit the home run in the first. $35,077 is the crowd tonight. That's the sellout and the standing room only number.
There's no way Bill Miller could signal a strikeout on a check swing to the Babe. Started. Strong wrist, able to keep the bat back, and the appeal to third base. No call by Marvin Hudson. Changeup.
Well, A's baseball on FSN Bay Area is brought to you by Honda. See your Honda dealer and discover their great values now being offered. So 1 out, Kuss at first, and here's Crosby. A walk to Kuss, the second by Cain tonight. That pitch called a strike. Final game of the series will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. You'll see it on FSN Bay Area. Joe Kennedy and Matt Morris. Will leave after the game and go to Chicago. That'll be a 3-game series in Chicago, a day off on Thursday, and then a 3-game series in Baltimore. So the A's wrapping up this 10-game homestand. One and 2 the count. And this will be pitch number 100 for Cain. The first couple innings got him in trouble with the pitch count. He threw over 50 in the first 2 innings. Swing and a miss. 8 strikeouts for Matt Cain.
Yeah, it's down there. You know, you have to swing at it because Marvin Hudson has called the low fastball. And that's a little bit lower than what has been called. 27-28 in the first 2 innings, 55 total. This is one guy I'm sure Bruce Bochy and Dave Righetti, manager and pitching coach, will not take any chances of leaving him out there an extended period of time, especially as the pitch count starts to mount.
Big, strong young man, 6'3", 235 pounds is Matt Cain. It's a foul ball past Klesko. So 0-2 the count. The 2002 draft, Major League Baseball. In the first round, the A's took Nick Swisher with the 16th pick. They took Joe Blanton with the 24th pick. And the Giants took Matt Cain with the 25th pick. So Swisher 16, Blanton 24, Cain 25 in the first round of the 02 draft. Swing and a miss, a foul tip. 9 strikeouts for Matt Cain. Bonds is going to lead things off. 7th inning coming up, 3-0 A's. A's baseball on FSN Bay Area is brought to you by Acura. Acura Advance. 7th inning at the Coliseum. The response is for Barry Bonds, who leads things off for the Giants in the 7th. 3-0 Athletics. Giants have been able to do nothing with Dan Haren. Two 2-0. Haren has retired 16 consecutive hitters.
Last inning, 5-pitch inning for Dan Haren.
Bonds a line drive through the shift, and Buck gets over to pick it up. So Bonds gets the Giants' 2nd hit tonight. He's been on base twice.
Well, Dan Haren missed the first 2 pitches, the breaking balls. That one down and in, that one a little bit better, but still inside. And 2-0, fastball inner part of the plate, and a laser in the right field.
So Bonds aboard, and here's Klesko. Haren has not been in the stretch since the 1st inning. High to Klesko. Klesko 1 for 4 last night. 0 for 1 with the walk tonight. Two 2-0. So Haren fell behind Bonds 2-0, and he falls behind Klesko 2-0. Good looking young man. This will be pitch number 96 for Haren. He's walked 2. He has struck out 5. Klesko center field. Swisher's there. Klesko hit it hard, but right at Swisher, 1 out.
Positioning, high fastball to Ryan Klesko, and next Swisher about 2 steps in, 1 step back, and out number 1.
And now Swisher moves over a little bit toward right center.
And he said, wow, that ball looked like it was going to take off on him.
Had a little something on it. First pitch to Molina is a strike. Molina to left. Stewart back. Stewart at the wall, and it is gone. 2-run homer, Benji Molina, and just like that, we got a new ball game. Right off the top of the out-of-town scoreboard. 4th home run for Molina. And just the 5th home run that Danny Herron has given up this year. And that comes in 66 innings. And here's Mark Sweeney.
A's still have a lead, but now it's a little bit less. And Matt Cain mentioned his dealing. Dan Herron tied 16 in a row before Bonds got the hit in this inning.
Good pitch there to Sweeney.
Like a fastball to Benjamin Molina that maybe tried to get inside. He just lifted it just enough over the scoreboard.
Well, the Giants bullpen is quiet, so Cain will go out there. Omar Vizquel waits in the on-deck circle. Sweeney swings and misses. Ball bounces away from Kendall. He throws, and it's not in time. Sweeney's going to be aboard.
Benjamin Molina made it a 1-run game. Jason Kendall inside the fastball. Pretty close to where he wanted it. Benji just opened up, almost like he knew they were going to try to go inside. You see the hip left leg open up as much as Benji did. That's, of course, the history of facing the A's as a member of the Angels and the Blue Jays, first year in the National League. But you start remembering how teams pitch you, and the way he opened up, I think he figured he's going to get a fastball in.
And quickly, Jay Marshall gets up, and he's not messing around down there. He's getting loose and doing it quickly.
Now the strikeout, but unfortunately for the A's, ball hit in the dirt far enough away from Jason Kendall, who went after it quickly. But Sweeney seeing the ball get away from Kendall and able to get to first base. So wild pitch on a strikeout.
And here's Vizquel. Vizquel rips one foul past Willie Upshaw, first base coach. Vizquel 0 for 2 tonight. He's 0 for his last 12. The batting average now down to .238. So a slow start to the season for Vizquel. Swing and a miss. Sweeney's running, and he's going to slide in safely. So Vizquel had a feeling with Sweeney running, it was probably hit and run.
Yeah. And another splitter in the dirt. Jason blocked it, but with the runner running, it is a stolen base. Even though Jason did not throw and the ball was in the dirt, but he was running. So on with the wild pitch, second on a stolen base.
Vizquel reached for it. Chavez has it, 2 outs. And Omar Vizquel 0 for 6 in the series. 2-run homer by Benji Molina. So it's up to the rookie Kevin Franson. So he will try to tie the game. Danny Herron trying to hold on to that lead. 3-2. Good pitch to open up the at-bat to Franson. The Angels with a big inning. Angels now lead the Dodgers 6-2 in the 7th inning. in the dirt. It bounces up and off the railing, off the netting, and Sweeney to third. Well, Ray, you know it better than anybody. That's probably kind of a lousy feeling for a catcher. I mean, what can you do on this one?
You can't do anything. Just a hard splitter. Jason doing his best to get in front of the ball, just not hitting him squarely, and he is trying to square himself up, and he is doing a good job of doing it. But now, what do they do? They keep calling a splitter.
That one's high.
You have to think as a hitter, you have to eliminate the split finger fastball from what you might be thinking about getting. Considering a wild pitch got him to first, wild pitch tempting to steal to second, and a wild pitch to third.
Crosby's got it. One hop. And the Giants get two, but they strand the tying run at third. 3-2 Athletics. Here's tonight's Fry's HD defining moments. Third base umpire Bill Miller, a friend to the A's early on. He calls this ball foul. He calls this ball fair, and that left the bases loaded. Thank you, Bill Miller. Matt Cain unable to field this ball in the bottom of the first inning. It would have been the third out. The next hitter, Jack Cust, makes him pay. A 3-run homer by Cust, so it was a 3-0 lead for the Athletics. It stayed that way all the way until the top of the seventh when Benji Molina plays long ball, 2-run homer. That made it a 3-2 game, and that is where we stand. Bottom of the seventh inning coming up. The Giants 2-3-0, the A's 3-5-0. So home runs have been the story. 3-run homer by Cuss, 2-run homer by Molina. Matt Cain is back out there. He fires a strike to Mark Ellis. That pitch missed somewhere. Benji Molina thought it was a strike. Count 1-1. Cain has 9 strikeouts. He has struck out 4 of the last 7 A's hitters. But he's behind in the count here to Ellis, 3-1. Well, the A's would love a couple insurance runs. Needed here.
You start as a pitching coach, start to watch a pitcher to see if he starts trying to overthrow, trying to push a little bit with the pitch count. David Rigetti, one of the best, and sure would be watching his young right-hander, as will Kurt Young be watching Dan Herron. 110 for Dan.
And it's a leadoff walk. Third walk issued by Cain. And with that, Jack Cashner gets up. So Jason Kendall, the hitter, 9th place hitter. Pedro Feliz right on the edge of the infield grass. See if Kendall has any thoughts about bunting.
You know that's an A's jacket.
That could be an A's jacket. First pitch inside to Kendall. The A's have just 4 sacrifices this year.
1954, the last time the team made the Giants won the World Series. They had New York on the front though.
Ellis is running. Line back to Kane. He knocked it down and throws to first in time. He had it in his glove. It rolled out and he was able to get the out at first, but Ellis is now at second with one out. Dave Righetti's going to make sure his pitcher's okay.
Self-defense right back and got his glove up, but did it get just his glove? Able to throw out Jason Kendall, but wow, that ball was hit hard, very hard, back to Matt Cain. You'd have to think might have been a line drive into a double play had it gone through. Although it was a sinking liner once it hit or started to get to the pitcher's mound, whether it would have made it all the way to second in the air, but with shortstop covering, it might have been right there.
So Kane's all right. They also want to make sure they're together on everything. An important part of the ball game. A's trying to add on to a 3-2 lead. And Kane will face the top of the order Stewart, and Swisher is in the on deck circle. So here's Stewart. Slowly hit. Felice charges. It's going to be a tough play. He bare hands, and he's not going to be able to make a play. Well, Matt Cain was hurt by a softly hit ball in the first inning. And A's will try to take advantage of another one here in the seventh.
Sometimes the big swing results in a base hit. This big swing, the ball didn't go anywhere. And also sometimes it's best not to try to make a spectacular play when you know that you throw the ball down the line or make an errant throw, a run's going to score.
Here's Swisher. We got 3 straight left-handed hitters coming up after Swisher, and Tashner is loose down in the bullpen. He's the lefty. So this could be the last hitter Matt Cain faces. We shall see. He is at 113 pitches. In there for a strike, changeup. Beltre just hit a 3-run homer for the Seattle Mariners. Mariners lead 6-1 in the third inning over Greg Maddux and the Padres. Another changeup. This time Swisher lays off and it drops down out of the strike zone. Stewart with a good lead at first. It's rolled foul, so now the count 2-2. Good battle here, Cain and Swisher.
Staying soft with everything with change-ups.
Ellis at third and Stewart at first. 1 out. Snaps off a big curveball that just stayed outside. 3-2.
What are the odds of him getting a fastball after seeing changeups and curveballs? When he throw it 3-2. This is how close this one was. No good take by Nick Swisher. Walk, strikeout, fly ball to center field. Struck out on a 3-2 changeup back in the second with 2 runners on.
Stewart not running, and Swisher just got a piece of another changeup. Well, Swisher has certainly saw the fastball earlier in the game, and he has seen plenty of Cain's off-speed stuff here in this at-bat.
There he is, 5-10 now.
Inside, and he walked it. No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Yeah, it's 3-2.
Yeah. Nick Swisher does not know that it's a ball, and now he does.
And that's the second time this year that's happened. Well, Kangaroo Court to get him again.
Yeah. Well, the bases are loaded for Chavez. Bruce Bochy has a lefty heated up and ready to go.
Everybody knew except the guy at the plate.
He wanted to hit. Let's just go with that. He wanted to hit.
My bad.
So we are going to have a pitching change, and it is our fourth bold move of the game. Matt Cain, 119 pitches. He cannot win it. Well, a high pitch count early in this game caught up with Matt Cain. 9 strikeouts and 6 1/3. The 4 walks got him as well, and all 3 runners are his. The bases are loaded, and there is just 1 out. Jack Tashner, the left-hander, against Eric Chavez.
Something you said last night about Tashner coming in the game. He might have to be brought in some tough situations the rest of the weekend. Well, tonight's one of them. How many did he end up throwing last night?
26.
26 pitches.
And it was an unnecessary 26 because Klein got thrown out of the game, and Bruce Bochy, you don't want to bring in your closer, obviously. They only had 3 or 4 guys left in the bullpen, so Tashner had to come out, and he's a fairly important part of their bullpen. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Giants scored 2 in the top of the 7th. He's trying to get those runs back here in the bottom of the 7th. Delayed call by Marvin Hudson. Strike on the outside corner.
Minji was holding it, but a little bit off the plate. Marvin Hudson saw it, though, as being a strike.
And Chavez got one to hit there. Tashner really wanted the ball away a little bit. Chavez a strikeout and 2 groundouts tonight. He's a .234 hitter this year against left-handed pitching. .249 overall. Hangs in there, fouls it back. emergency swing. Heads up in the A's dugout down near the other end. Everybody's okay.
A 94-mile-an-hour fastball and a breaking ball comes at you, and that definitely is an emergency. Brought the hands in. Too close to think about it being called strike 3, so he fouled it off, unintentionally shooting it into his own dugout. Did wake them up there.
Yes, he did. Got him fastball up and out of the strike zone, and Chavez strikes out for the second time tonight.
Went back to the fastball after the breaking ball that stayed on the inner part of the plate. Go Jack go is what he's saying. Got his runners out on the bases.
Yeah. So here's Dan Johnson. A's need a 2-out hit. Slider Cashner throws to Johnson is outside. Jack Cashner is from Racine, Wisconsin. That's where I'm from.
Yeah, I know that. That's
He's a hometown kid. So I want to pull for him, but I can't right now.
No,
I
you
just
better
can't do
not.
it. I can't do it. Slider 2-0. Cashner wanted that to be called a strike. So now he's working himself into some trouble. They're loaded, and it's 2-0. Center field, or make it right field. Fred Lewis has it. A's had a shot, but they leave him loaded in the 7th. A's baseball on FSN Bay Area is brought to you by Jack Daniels. Friends at Jack Daniels remind you to please drink responsibly. Good ball game tonight. The A's and their fans hanging on to a 3-2 lead over the Giants. And we have reached the 8th inning. Dan Herron's night is complete. Jay Marshall takes over. And he faces the top of the Giants order. Wynn, Lewis, and Feliz. Fred Lewis is not in the on-deck circle. Dan Ortmeyer is. Randy Wynn hits it sharply, but right at Mark Ellis. 1 out. So Ortmeyer's going to hit. He's a switch hitter. So Fred Lewis, strictly a left-handed hitter.
Number 40, Daniel
Ortmeyer played in last night's game. Went 1 for 4 with a run scored. Played left field. First pitch, it's a ground ball. Crosby has it. 2 outs. So that'll bring up Pedro Feliz with Bonds in the on-deck circle. And Bob Guerin's coming out.
Came out like he wanted to sprint and then turned around and maybe had not gotten the indication, Brad Fisher, that his right-hander was available or ready. And so he's taking a little slower walk to give Kiko Calero a few more warm-up tosses. Jay Marshall, though, bringing this kid along slowly. 8th inning, 1-run game. 3 pitches, 2 outs, 2 ground ball outs, and Jay's accepting all the congrats from Bob Guerin. Sure, Skip, whatever you want to do. Just happy to be here, and he's doing a great job. Maybe he's asking Marvin Hudson.
So Marshall out. It's going to be Kiko Calero coming in. Well, the wheels are turning, as they like to say. Bob Guerin gets 2 outs from Jay Marshall, and he brings in the right-hander Kiko Calero to face Pedro Feliz. 2 outs, nobody on in a 1-run game. Calero pitched last night, pitched the 8th inning, gave up a hit with a couple of strikeouts. And Feliz swings at the first pitch, and that'll do it. Easy inning for the A's pitching staff. Bonds in the on-deck circle.
I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. And I'm too sexy for this song.
It's been an interesting night for Nick Swisher. Started with a haircut. Well, a partial cut, I guess you could say. A little confusion. He didn't know he had walked. He had to be told by his teammates.
Everybody knew it but Nick. He cut his hair and lost his, I don't know, just, he's not smiled much tonight. He was concerned that, like Sampson, cut his hair, lose his power, but I don't think it really is going to affect him.
Keep an eye on it. Ortmeyer, the new right fielder for the Giants. Jack Cust with a big swing. Fouls it into the third deck, and now it bounces down. Big hit in this game. Jack Cust, a 3-run homer in the first inning. Kevin Correa is loose and ready, so this could be Tashner's last hitter he faces. He got both the left-handed hitters out he faced in the 7th inning with the bases loaded. Three and one. Who's going to pitch the 9th for the A's?
I think it will be that 41 facing 25.
And it's a walk. That's the 5th walk the A's have received tonight. Bruce Bochy's coming out. Kevin Correa's coming in. He will face Bobby Crosby. Let's look at some great defense. Makes our U.S. Marines honor roll from tonight. From third baseman Eric Chavez. Makes a real nice play. Getting Kevin Franson out of bunt attempt. Bobby Crosby with plenty of time to get Benji Molina. So that was our U.S. Marines honor roll for tonight. And Crosby steps in with Cust at first. Nobody out. Kevin Correa is the new pitcher for the Giants. 18th appearance. Correa did not pitch in last night's game. He's got a good arm. Walk guys occasionally, which we saw more than enough of last night from the Giants pitchers. Cust with a very short lead at first. And now the count 0-2. So in the 9th, whatever the score may be, it'll be Bonds, Klesko, and Molina. So 2 left-handed hitters and a right-handed hitter.
I would not think the veteran Alan Emery is thinking about being nervous. He's been in the situations before. World Championship 04 with the Red Sox, so he knows what he has to do. Pitches he has to try to get guys out.
To right field, it is fair. Picked up by Orton. Ortmeyer. Cust is going to stop at third. Crosby at second. And the A's are in business here in the bottom of the eighth.
Alan Embry breathing a little bit easier right now, just thinking about possibly going out with a couple more runs. 0-2 after two very good fastballs, and Bobby Crosby, great job going opposite field with a high fastball, almost like he planned it. Ferrer trying to roll the ball foul, but this one hit the chalk barely.
Man.
Wow. In the first.
Sometimes breaks go your way, and they have gone the A's way tonight. So Travis Buck and then Mark Ellis. Infield in for the Giants.
One thing Travis Buck has shown since day one of spring training, getting an opportunity to play quite a bit, is his patience, and he's so patient they're going to walk him intentionally. I'll take a chance of giving him something to hit, falling behind 2-0, but he's strong. He waits a long time, which allows him to be as patient. And Mark Ellis, who in his last at bat last night, his 40th home run as a second baseman, it was a grand slam. He has a chance to
do it
again.
Dave Righetti's going to come out.
Flags waved high, and they're ready to go.
This was the grand slam from Ellis last night. Just kind of went down and golfed it out.
I think that you'd just like to see somebody just let him go, see how far he would go. Being held. And
well, Ken Maka held Milton Bradley back last year, and you know what? We're all glad that he did.
Right. So is Milton.
Cust, Crosby, Buck are the runners. Correa pitching out of the windup with the infield in. Now it's 0-2. In underneath the hands, fouled back by Ellis. Hard, Cuss skips out of the way. Swisher, he's not going to hit for a while, but doesn't mean you can't be ready.
Pine tar on his helmet, so he doesn't have enough on his batting gloves. He always reach up. But you're not allowed to go back to the on-deck circle to put more pine tar on.
Vizquel charges. He's coming home, and the Giants will get the out at home. Nice play by Omar Vizquel. He is very smooth. So 1 out, the base is still loaded.
And that's where the infield end go for the play at the plate, knowing there's only 1 play. Chance to get the lead runner. And the A's will try it again with the bases loaded. This time with 1 out. Benjamin Molina just getting out of the way. No chance to return a throw to first base. Now the infield's going to play back for double play for 2.
And the outfield shallow, as they usually are with Kendall. This pitch is low. Now Correa going from the stretch. Base is low.
A little more speed at third. Bobby Crosby.
A big run for the A's to pick up, because I think that Bonds is leading off the 9th inning. In there for a strike for 2-1.
And we don't know what the thinking of the Bob Guerin is, but could determine whether they intentionally walk him or pitch to him.
How about that?
Yeah, and that could be something to be considered if it's a 1-run lead. With Bonds leading off the 9th, or they're able to add on. The latter is the case.
He's been walked with the bases loaded before, so anything could happen. Now it's 3-1. So Kendall is in a great spot. And it's a walk. Kevin Correa walks in a run, and the Giants pitchers are losing control again tonight. That is a huge run for the A's.
Jason Kendall has such a good eye. You know he's got to throw a strike. Herrera does. And not able to. Jason pulled in the hands, and been a bad for Jason. 3-1. Took 1 fastball, kind of the outside part of the plate. 2-0. After that, it was walking.
So here's Stewart. Klein is going to start loosening up. So 7 walks tonight, 13 walks last night, 20 in this series. Swing and a miss. Buck, Ellis, and Kendall are the runners. Oh, 2.
You see a guy throw 2 strikes like that, you have to wonder how could he walk the guy before him or walk 2 in this inning. Walked Crosby, or he walked Cuss. No, it was Tashner who walked Cuss, but he walked Travis Buck 2-1, then walked him intentionally, but last 2 pitches were perfectly thrown.
And he makes a perfect pitch there, a slider right in the outside corner. 2 outs.
3 perfect pitches, 2 fastballs, and nailed the outside corner with a little cutter slider and throws Shan Stewart. Caught about as much of the plate as Benjamin Molina's ball caught third base in the first inning. Just enough.
2 outs for Swisher. Swisher a couple of walks tonight. To first. Klesko has it. He'll run to the bag. So the A's get 1, and they will take a 4-2 lead into the 9th. Bonds will lead off. Embry's going to take them out. Two-run home run.
Bonds hits one.
What a great ball game tonight.
And tomorrow afternoon, the Battle of the Bay weekend, presented by Elone, continues. That's a 1:05 p.m. start. 10,000 fans will receive limited edition cards. For tickets, 877-493-BALL or visit OaklandAthletics.com. Single tickets and standing room remaining. And that is it for the series finale. The A's trying to go into the series finale tomorrow with a 2-0 lead in a 3-game weekend series.
Embry throws a strike to Bonds. Bonds, Klesko, and Molina here in the 9th. A couple of young Giants fans with their rally caps on.
Last inning, Jay Marshall and Kiko Calero faced 3 batters, 4 pitches. 2 ground ball outs and a fly ball out.
So 2-1. Saw the graphic. Bonds with a home run off Embry. The A's with a 2-run lead. Fastball a little up in the strike zone. Bonds just got a piece of it. So the count 2-2.
A little bit out of the strike zone. Got Marvin Hudson.
Bonds scored on the Molina home run in the 7th. Now it's a full count. To center field in the ballpark. 1 out.
Got the 6 pitches with fastball for a strike, and then they go to 2-1 after missing the next 2 pitches. And this one a little bit curious about it. Pitch clearly a ball up and in. Looked like Bonds wanted to try to do something even though it was out of the strike zone. Gets one 3-2. Down the middle, belt high, and sends it straight up.
Klesko takes a bit high. Bonds 1 for 3 now tonight. Klesko, a shot to right. 2 outs. Well, you can't hit it much harder than that, but it ends up in the glove of Travis Buck. So 2 outs, and Benji Molina is going to step up. So A's fans getting up on their feet. They're 1 out away from winning the first 2 games of this series. There's a strike on the outside corner to Molina. Eliezer Alfonso has come out into the on-deck circle. That is Mark Sweeney's spot. Oh, 2. So Embry has retired Bonds and Klesko, trying to finish off Molina. To right field, this should do it. Travis Buck settles under it, and that's the ball game. Alan Embry, a 3-up, 3-down, 9th inning. So Jack Cust, way back in the 1st inning, a 3-run homer, and that ended up being the difference as the A's hang on and win it. They get an insurance run late, and the final score is the A's 4 and the Giants 2. So for the Athletics, their 22nd win of the year. And a great performance from Danny Herron. I think a pretty good pitcher's duel tonight, but Matt Cain with the 1 mistake, and it was to our man, Jack Cust.
And that gives us our Chevy drive of the game, and deservedly, as Jack Cust went deep again, the 8th time this year, when the sun was still shining. Matt, just after 6 o'clock local time that the game started, Matt Cain struggled in the 1st inning, would settle down, but boy, that was just enough for the A's to get a good lead for Dan Herron and hang on to win. A much different game than last night when the A's scored 15 and won 15-3, but tonight they needed just 4 to win by 2, so a good game.
And Danny Herron got a few more runs tonight, but the good news is the runs were enough. He was very good. Matt Cain was good as well, but when it's all said and done, the big hit by Jack Cust, the difference in the game, and that is good news. The young man continues to put on a show for the Athletics, and boy, it's been fun to watch.
Does he get to join us again?
I think he is. Jack Cust, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
So you keep hitting home runs, you have to talk to us. That's the way it works here.
That's all right. It's a good trade-off.
Congratulations. Let's get right to the at-bat. We thought maybe the pitch that you hit out of the ballpark may have been a ball. It looked like it was a little up in the strike zone. Take us through the at-bat.
Yeah, I mean, he started me off with a breaking ball, and you know, I saw it pretty good, so I was kind of looking for fastball after that, and you know, I think he threw a changeup and a breaking ball for a ball, and then he got behind 3-1, and I faced him before in the minor leagues. I know he tries to, you know, guys were saying he would challenge you if he, you know, fell behind, and so I just kind of sold out on the fastball there, and yeah, it was probably a little up in the zone, but good pitch to hit. You know, luckily I got on top of it and was able to drive it out.
Jack, you have such a great eye, very disciplined hitter, as the walks show throughout your career, and even with the Athletics in the first 2 weeks. But in a situation, how much do you try to maybe go out of the strike zone, expand your strike zone in a situation like you had 3-1?
It's just, you know, a guy throwing 96, 97 miles per hour, you don't have much time to really decide. So I was just trying to get my foot down and react, basically. You know, I'm not really expanding the zone, just looking for a pitch I can drive. And you know, luckily I drove that one.
Jack, you now got 8 home runs, 20 RBIs. You lead this team in home runs. The difference this time with the A's as opposed to the other times you've been in the big leagues with some other teams, is it just simply you're getting a chance to play every day?
Yeah, I mean, I never got a chance to play. I played every day. One time with Baltimore for about 3 weeks, and I hit pretty well. And, you know, never really got a chance to just get thrown out there every day against righties, lefties, whatever. So, you know, the guys here have shown a lot of confidence in me, and, you know, it just makes it makes all the difference in the world when you got, you know, an organization that has confidence in you and, you know, teammates that are supporting you. So, I mean, for me, it's been a great situation.
How much you're enjoying all the attention you're getting, the interviews like us, or you just continue to get interviewed?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's different. You don't get interviewed after minor league home runs. So I'm just excited about, you know, the situation. And, you know, if the interviews come, they come.
It all goes hand in hand, Jack.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
All
We
right.
appreciate it. What a
Thank
great
you.
story. And I thought you made a great point during the game, Ray. The first week you're saying, okay, he's doing great, but there's going to be an adjustment period. But, you know, we're moving into the second week now, and it hasn't changed.
Absolutely. And I think his discipline, plate discipline, has been tremendous, continues. And as we continue to talk about his discipline, the fact that he sees a lot of pitches, that eventually he's going to get a fastball. He worked the count. Matt Cain threw him a 3-1 fastball, a little bit out of the strike zone. He didn't miss it when he got it, and it's just a tremendous thing to see him doing so well, because it's almost like you can't wait for him to come to the plate, especially in crucial situations, because he continues to come through.
And he came through tonight, a 3-run homer in the first inning. It ended up being the difference in the game. The A's win it tonight over the Giants by a final score of 4-2. We'll talk more about the game when we come back.
A's Baseball is brought to you by McDonald's. Introducing the Hugo-sized drink. 42 ounces of ice-cold soda, now just 69 cents. Only at McDonald's. By Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. By Dodge. You can take life as it comes or grab life by the horns. By Major League Baseball. Be sure to join the baseball fun and visit DHL All-Star Fan Fest this summer. For tickets, visit allstargame.com. And by Comcast.
Well, our next telecast, it's going to be tomorrow when the A's and the Giants play the finale of the Bay Bridge Series. Coverage begins with the Dodge pregame show at 12:30 right here on FSN Bay Area and on FSN HD. Once again, the final score tonight from the Coliseum. The A's make it 2 in a row over the Giants. They win it by a final score of 4-2. For producer David Coppett, director Tom Adza, and my partner Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. You've been watching FSN Bay Area, your home for A's baseball all season long. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, everybody.